Attention quilt enthusiasts, today we are letting the needles dance. Are you ready to transform your creativity into stitches? Hello dear ones and welcome to week 3 of our Fragment Quilt Along. I'm thrilled that you are back with us. This week is particularly exciting because we are starting to sew our first blocks. Do you remember those small sticks we so carefully cut last week? That's right, those are our blocks, and today we are starting with 1, 2, 3, which we'll be sewing together using the simple piecing technique. Don't worry if you are feeling unsure, we'll go through it step by step. Before we begin, I'd like to remind you that you'll find all the detailed instructions in your pattern. This is your faithful companion through this quilting adventure, so keep it handy. If you don't have the pattern so far, you will find a download link in the video description, as always. Are you ready to let your sewing machines hum? Then let's start this exciting week together. We go forward with block 1. These are all the pieces I have cut in week 2 according to my cutting chart, and I'm now starting to put a strip set together according to my pattern. I first set my seams and finally press them open. I split them in 3 segments with the measurements given in the pattern and set them aside for now. In the next step, I prepare my yellow squares with a diagonal marking to make later half square triangles. Next, I will pair a square with a strip set centered onto each other and pin them in place. You will notice that the strip sets are a little bit larger, but that doesn't matter as long as my yellow piece is centered on top. We are going to trim off the excess fabric later anyway. Now in the next step, I make 2 half square triangles out of this set, and therefore I will sew along with a 1/4" seam on the left side and on the right side. Let's split those in halves along the marking line. So now you press your seam allowances, will always press to the side with less seams, which is the yellow one. So I press towards yellow here. When you do half square triangles and you press, it's always more kind of a press instead of a stretching, because otherwise you will distort your square. And the last step will now be to trim off the excess fabric and give it the right size according to our pattern. I love my block lock ruler and my rotating cutting mat. It's really a good thing for half square triangles here. So This is number 5 and I just need 5 and the 6th one is a leftover. We've now completed 6 beautiful blocks of type 1. 3 of them are mirror images, a great detail that will add even more depth to our quilt later. We'll be using 5 of these blocks for our project. And with that, we've already completed the first part of our task for this week. Let's move on to block type 2 together. This block brings an exciting new component to our quilt design. I'm so excited to show you how we'll put it together. These are the pieces I will need for block number 2. And first I will pair a little square and bring it onto that rectangle on my sewing machine. If you go to your pattern, you will realize that this is not actually a square, rather it's kind of a rectangle where this edge is longer and this is slightly shorter. So it has to be in a way that the longer side is on the longer edge of the yellow rectangle. I pressed all my seams open and now I have to place my blue triangle on the long edges of this unit like that. Pin it in place and I sew along that diagonal edge with a 1/4 inch seam. I trim now off the excess fabric along this diagonal edge. Again, the rule would be press towards less seams, which is the direction. And again, I have to square my half square triangles using my block rock ruler and then I'm done. Well done! Block type 2 is now finished. You're really on a great path. Let's move on to the last part of our quilting journey today. Block 3. I'm so eager to show you how we'll put this one together. This block brings a special touch to our quilt design. Are you ready for the final challenge? Then let's start together. First, we put a strip set together from these both strips. Onto the sewing machine. I leave it for now because I have to press this part later too. So let's go forward with this part of the block. Now this is similar as if you join binding strips. I'll take my yellow rectangle and I place the white one right sides together on top of it so that those both edges are congruently onto each other. Now with my ruler I mark the diagonal line from this corner to this corner over here. And pin it in place. Now I sew exactly on my marked lines. In the end, I want to look my unit like that. Therefore, I'm trimming off this excess fabric with a 1/4 inch seam allowance here. Time for pressing. I could now press my seam towards the darker fabric, but I like it to press it all open, so I will do that. And for the strip set, I also will press that one open, just to have a consistent manner. Next, I have to split my strip set in 5 equal segments. And the last step would be to now bring those both units together. So I place the strip set right side onto my diagonal pieced unit, and as you can see, the bottom unit is a little bit larger, but that doesn't matter. We will square off our block 3 in the end anyway, so we just center it and pin it in place. When I now press, I use the rule towards that side which has less seams, and this is the blue strip. So I press towards blue. What's left is now to square up these units or these blocks 3 to the needed size. I use the green edge as my finished size and place my ruler with the right measurements given through the pattern so that I can trim off the right edge. And from top I eyeball about 1/4 inch right now and can now trim off the other edge with the exact measurements. Wow, dear ones, we've done it! All the blocks of type 3 are finished, and with that, we've achieved our weekly goal in this quilt along. You can really be proud of yourself. Before we say goodbye, I'd like to remind you of a few important things. Don't forget to share your beautiful creations with the hashtag Fragment QAL. You have the chance to win a great prize and at the same time inspire other quilters out there. And if you enjoyed this video, I'd be thrilled if you could give it a thumbs up. And if you don't want to miss any more tips and tricks about quilting, feel free to subscribe to my channel and activate the bell. Next week is going to be really exciting. We are diving into the world of foundation paper piecing. I can't wait to share this technique with you. Until then, have fun with your finished blocks, happy quilting, and see you next week!